Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you are on to Morning Ride, and the ride is just about to really start, so our guest is already seated. Now, if you're familiar with court process in Nigeria, you would have realized that how long and tedious it can be. It can span a lot of years to, get court verdict. A lot is involved, talking about evidences, testimonies, and this can go from the lower court to the highest court, from the magistrates, high court, appellate court to the Supreme Court. And this can span years, even before the case is eventually dealt with. The parties involved might have even gone, So, and there is alternative dispute resolution, which, is also on the side to help address some of these cases that, make it to be quickly dispensed off. And that's the thrust of our conversation today. We're looking at the place of alternative dispute resolution in Nigerian judicial system. Like I said, it's going to be an eye-opening session. Our guest is already seated here. Before I unveil her, why don't you see our profile frame? We will be back. There you have it. Very intimidating, but very interesting credentials of our guest we have today. She is the presiding judge of the very famous Justice Court reality TV show. She is an attorney of over 30 years legal experience and a certified mediator for over 14 years. She is trained locally and internationally. And but on a lighter note, we can say she's a broadcaster, going by what she does on her program. Yes, she's a good presenter. If you have not been watching that program, you need to look out for it. Well, maybe I should even introduce her the way they normally introduce her on the show. Honorable Judge Funmi Asaolu presided. But today, the table is turning. We are presiding here today. She is our guest. Please join me to welcome Honorable Judge Funmi Asaolu of the Justice Court. Pleasure having you on Morning Ride.
Thank you, Kazi.
Glad to have you.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, on a lighter note, in this part of the world, we love free things a lot. And, we see some of the cases that you deal with on your show. Some of the litigants are able to go home with some amount of money. And you see some other cases, you cannot but laugh that these people here, information can spread. Do you share money on that show?
No, we don't share money. But the court on its own, at times, decide to assist some litigants.
Okay.
If the court realize that some litigants, by choices, they made bad choices and not intentionally find themselves in certain situations that makes their case to be very pathetic. Okay. Then the court comes in to assist them to bounce back.
Okay. All right. Compared to the conventional court that we know, where we see attorneys arguing for and against on behalf of the plaintiffs and the defendants. What differentiates the alternative dispute resolution from the regular courts, by its modus operandi?
Okay. Well, the Justice Court is an alternative dispute resolution process. And ADR basically is a manner of resolving disputes among litigants without going to the traditional courts or resorting to the regular litigation. It's not really cumbersome.
Okay.
Because they understand the process, because they are actively involved. They speak directly to the court, or they are involved in the negotiation. And ADR of the Justice Court is more of mediation and negotiation. The court tries to mediate among the parties and allow the parties to negotiate openly in the courts. So it's not cumbersome, they understand the process, it's faster than the regular courts.
Okay.
And it's less acrimonious.
Okay.
Because they come out most times, you see them walking out of the courtroom as friends.
Yes. I mean, I'm one of the ardent followers of the program. All right. The Justice Court TV show, like I said, for those who have been watching, it is a platform that encourages social justice, legal education, and there's a bit of entertainment. But that's what I enjoy in that. But tell us, you started on that. How does the Justice Court help in addressing issues of justice, vis-a-vis alternative dispute resolution in Nigeria? That's on one hand. And how can people access it?
Okay. The first part is it brings justice to the masses that ordinarily might not be able to afford the services of a lawyer.
Okay.
And it's done in a speedy manner. So that's the benefits of that. And the second part of the question?
Yes, how can people access it?
Okay, for Justice Court, we have a website, www.thejusticecourt.com, where people submit their cases at no cost. They submit online, and the legal team go through it, reach out to them, reach out to the defendants, gets back to them. If there is need to demand for more documents, evidence, or anything to support their case, they demand for it, then they shortlist it for hearing and pass it to the courts.
Okay, I want to talk about obeying the judgments of the court. We are in this part of the world that even in the normal courts, the everyday courts that we know, respecting the judgment is always been an issue. So do you have cases whereby a judgment is being passed and people find it difficult to adhere or go by the judgment of the... How do you cope when you have cases like this?
How do we enforce the judgments?
Yes.
Kind of. Okay, let me give you a little background about mediation settlements. When the parties come together, even at the Lagos State High Courts, mediation, when you file your case in court, it's usually first referred for mediation. And when the party agrees, then it's taken to the court, and the court will now pronounce judgment on it. So when we do that at the Justice Courts, what you already have is an agreement between the parties. And if they default, it could be enforced. But what we normally do, because we try to make it as less acrimonious, as I said, as possible. So the legal team reach out to the party again, and we make them to understand the implication, and by that, they comply.
So what if you have extreme cases of non-adherence?
Non-compliance.
Non-compliance. So far, we don't have.
Oh.
Right, yes. Because, you see, some of the cases that are brought to the Justice Courts, first of all, Justice Court is a civil court.
Yes, sir.
We don't have jurisdiction to entertain criminal matters. But there are some cases that do come to Justice Court that it's just because the complainant or the plaintiff decided to make it a civil matter. For instance, some people, they might take a loan or take money from someone. They won't pay back on time, and at times they issue dot checks. All these, they are criminal in nature. So by the time they come back and the legal team now explain the implication to them, and they know the consequence of their acts, they comply.
Wow.
Because they don't really want to go to jail.
Into jail, okay, okay. You know, initially when you did say that it could be enforced, I'm like, you're already giving them an option. You know?
Yes, because taking you from the aspect of they don't want to go to jail, the justice court, your court, do you have, let's assume you have an extreme case, do you have the power to sentence?
Yes, what normally happens is the fact that, as I said earlier on, is a mediation process. And mediation is at the point of the agreement. That agreement only needs to be taken to the regular courts for judgment. It will be taken and enforced as judgments.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said even with legal states, you refer to the mediation, you have the agreement. You still end up at the regular courts, but it will just be a pronouncement.
Okay.
It's not as if the court will now start going through, bringing the litigants in again, because they've already agreed.
Exactly.
Okay.
They've already agreed.
Okay.
So it's just it's like terms of, it's called terms of settlement. At the regular court, it's called terms of settlement.
So in other words, any case that you have, given verdict on, and it gets to the regular court, it's just like stamping, giving a stamp of authority,
exactly.
For it to
Exactly.
carry
Because they've all signed for that.
signed for it. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, initially, I mean, when we started, I said it's going to be an eye-opening session because we are going to be educated a lot. I can assure that many people, do not know that this kind of alternative resolution to dispute occur, and that's why you are here. So still talking about education. Now, how will a litigant know which of these courts to approach, depend on which case he has at hand, whether it's the regular court or the ADR? I mean, that's on one leg. We are trying to bring so many things together because of the little time we have. That's on one leg. The other leg is, are there limitations to the cases that ADR can resolve? You try to go...
Yes, I'm saying ADR can resolve a lot of cases, usually civil and commercial cases, because the criminal matters are usually prosecuted by the states. So basically, it's mostly about civil and commercial. And arbitration is very, very popular in this field too, for resolving disputes.
Okay. So the earlier question I asked was that
that's a court going on.
Yes.
What's that?
That's the justice court we're watching right now. Oh, that's the Honorable Judge Asaolu there. Doing what she knows how to do best. Okay. So my earlier question was, how will a litigant know which of the courts to approach, depending on the case he or she has?
Yes, on a good day, ordinarily, when a litigant has a matter to be taken to the courts, they usually go to the lawyer. They engage the services of a lawyer to guide them on which court to approach. At the justice courts, we have a group of legal team. When they send in their cases and submit online, that's the first thing the legal team does. If it's strictly criminal in nature, they refer them to the traditional courts, the criminal cases. If it has to do with cases that is only the Federal High Court, like Admiralty and the like, that has the jurisdiction over, they refer them there. But if it's something that we can handle at the Justice Court, then we entertain them.
Okay.
So until you submit your case, that is at the stake that you will be guided.
Okay, on the way to go.
On where to go.
So
and the same way, if you don't even come to the Justice Court and you approach your lawyer, the lawyer will still guide you on how to go about it.
Okay, talking
But-
about, okay, land on. Yeah, land on that.
But there is a lot of advantage
Okay.
in going for mediation over the traditional court. As I said earlier on, it's faster,
All right.
and you are directly involved in negotiation.
Okay, but sometimes we
How
see...
fast are we talking about?
Yeah,
Because
talking
being
about
fast is
yes.
relative.
Yeah, because we do see some adjournments.
Okay.
You know?
At the Justice Court, so far, we've not had courts to sit over any matter more than twice.
Okay,
And twice is a duration of how long?
It depends because...
2 months? 3 months?
It depends. Some the following day, because
Wow.
if it's just a matter of documents that were not brought to court,
Okay.
and the litigants state that they can bring it the following day, is at his own discretion. So once they have what is required or requested by the court, there are some they come, it's about tenancy matter. They've not given out the requisite notices. So they go back, and once they comply, then they're back with us again.
Okay,
Why,
so-
hang on there, okay, hang on. Why, while responding earlier, you did mention something about jurisdiction, okay, about all this, level of courts. So talking about jurisdiction, and we know that that does play a major role on the kind of on what kind of case can come to what kind of court. This justice court in question now is a court, as it were, that is situated in Lagos. All right.
Okay.
And for the purpose of our viewers who are watching and they're catching up with what we're saying, can, for example, cases come from outside Lagos, to the court?
Yeah, cases.
Or even outside Nigeria?
Outside Nigeria.
Well, we've entertained cases from outside Lagos State and from outside Nigeria.
Oh.
Because they submit cases online, and we do have virtual sittings
Yes.
whereby we put them online, and we preside over their cases, and they
Okay.
get their judgments.
Okay, so if I have a case and I approach the court, and because I know that I know it might or might not be all of your cases you air. Do you seek for people's permission to air their cases? Because
Sure.
I, as a person, I might want to come and I might not.
They
want
all
to go.
sign for it. They sign for it.
Oh, okay.
They actually sign for it.
So definitely, if
They are aware, they know that they are going to be on air.
Oh, really? So if I don't want my case, what if I don't want my case to be on air? Then I cannot.
You go to the traditional courts.
Ooh. So that's a clause.
Go to the traditional courts.
Okay. If you want to set to bar justice court, it has to be on here. That's interesting.
Because we're using the medium to educate people.
Yes.
Yes.
That is it.
Yes.
Legal education. There are some cases we aired whereby along the line some people took it for granted that the court is an NGO. You have a tenant that the landlord has not evicted or disturbed. We now sue the landlord to the court and ask us to pay. So we have to air such cases so that it will educate others.
Interesting. In fact, I like the way you deal with some of those interesting issues. I find many of them amusing, very entertaining. Because when you get to see some things, especially issue of matrimonial issues, that is so much interesting thing. And interestingly too, in advising or mediating between the parties concerned, we usually sometimes advise them to go for counseling. And all of that. I don't know how much do people comply to that, and of course, who pays for such services?
Okay, when the courts refer couples to go and see marriage counselors, or at times for anger management classes with consultants, because they're adults, you can't force them. There's an option for them to take. So a lot of them embrace it, and we've had quite a lot of success story.
About it.
Yeah, from that. There was a couple that went in by the second session we were told that it was the husband that was helping the wife to carry the handbag, and they were holding hands. And
Beautiful, beautiful. Honestly, we realize that most of the times what we actually need is a little bit of education, a little bit of counseling, a little bit of knowledge,
Yes,
you know,
knowledge.
and a lot of things will fall into
Understanding.
place. I want to take you back to the genesis of all of this. What happened? What prompted you to do this?
yes, with the issue is there are a lot of people, masses, that ordinarily they cannot even afford the services of a lawyer. So obtaining justice is difficult for them. There are some cases that they've brought to court that the amount involved is not even more than 30,000 naira, 20, but it means a lot to them. So they need an avenue, and that's why we provided a platform for them to be able to approach and have their matters resolved.
Honorable Judge, your honor. You know, time just is not always a friend, especially when you are getting educated. I'm learning so much today, and I'm sure our viewers as well. But as we wind down on this, you know, on this very quickly, what do you want to tell the people out there?
Well, I'd love to thank our viewers. I'd love to thank them for watching. Thank you very much. And we hope we can reach more audience, more people. We love more people to be able to come in. And the few challenges we have we hope you'll be able to address them by having support, adverts and all the stuff, you know.
So
There are
meanwhile,
lots of people who want
how
to.
do you get sponsorship for this?
They're still waiting. They're still waiting for. We've been.
How do you
we've been on
how
air
do you fund this?
from our pocket for now.
Well,
And we'll be hearing for over a year.
yeah, we can only wish a justice court and we can only wish a justice court and the crew, the production crew, the brain behind it well, and you know, there's so much that is doing and is really affecting, you know, positively the society.
Thank you.
At this point, we have to draw the curtain. Well, you saw the way. I mean, you heard the way Honorable Judge was responding. Very subtle. You need to watch the program so that you can see her in a real form. So thank you very much, Honorable Judge Asaolu, for your time with us today on Money Night. We do really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kazim. Thanks
so much. All right, that's where we're going to draw the curtain on this very conversation. We'll go on another quick break. When we return, we will be inviting in our second guest. Please stay with us.